Hello, Garrick here, and I am here to vent about certain graphic design choices made around my area that are extremely unfortunate, so to say, at the risk of doxing myself, of course, but whatever. I think the information is a lot more important to get out. So, I have two pretty big examples of some pretty terrible choices with graphic design regarding text, and I'm focusing specifically on text for this video. So let's just get straight into it. First example, um, text choice. This one is terrible. I'm not sure if this is the right word, but fentanyl. I'm probably misspelling it. Basically, what this is supposed to be is some type of drug, recreational drug that people take, and people die from it. Um, so the actual words on the advertisement sort of they or it, it, informate. I'm forgetting my vocabulary. I'm sorry. It's not quite infomercial. Infomercial. Anyhow, it's on a bus. It's everywhere. Fentanyl is. This makes you cringe. Please, someone tell me there's nothing wrong with this. There's totally something wrong with this. Just if you read this, there's something wrong with this straight off the bat. This is the text that they've chosen. Fentanyl is forever. Does no one see a problem with this on first read? So let's break this down, why this is a problem. First of all, fentanyl, we've talked about this. This is a drug. They don't want you to be using this. And they chose the word forever. So forever is the big word that is a problem in this context. So forever has various connotations, and you think of things like eternal life, happily ever after, or even heaven. So, yes, this wording is absolutely problematic straight off the bat. Just, you don't need to think too hard about it. They should not be using this word. Um, and they chose a pretty generic font, which is similar to this, which allows for a lot of interpretations of what they decided to mean with this word choice. So what they've done later with later renditions is they put this little line to show to symbolize a no. This is inadequate. I'm very, very sorry to say this is wholly inadequate for canceling out the so-called happy, potential happy vibes. Let's do a few things with this text. So here, fentanyl is Let's change the text to something else, assuming we actually have the fonts here. We might not. I'm just going to look for a, let me change the setting here so we can preview this. This makes it look a lot more fun. Maybe we need to go down to, let's bring it down to regular and not lowercase and not capitalized thing. Let's see, oops. Ah, yes, this. We can change these around. Oh, here, this is a fun font. Makes it nice, cool, and exciting, doesn't it? That's not what you want to get out as a message for for this type of text. I don't know if I have a horror style font with like blood dripping, which is maybe the other option that they should have. I mean, I shouldn't say should have. It would have been another option that they could have used to drive the point that they actually want home and not have this very vague but obviously can be interpreted incorrectly style of font. Uh, interpreted incorrectly style of wording. I don't know. Sorry, this is not what I need. Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably don't have the font. Should have looked it up beforehand. But yes, if they actually had something like a blood dripping horror style font, it would have maybe communicated that this is not a good thing. So what they intended to convey was the negative aspects of horror and death, and they clearly did not do that with the neutral style text that they chose. So yeah, word choice. I assume this is government related. So instead of forever, which has the nice, hopeful, happy connotations linked to it, this is the word I would have chosen. Final. And because we're in a place where there is also Spanish, they have a second version, which I believe does use sin finare or something related. So this would actually be a lot closer to that as well. Less of a jump in translation. There is a lot less to misinterpret with this type of word, with this word choice. So word choice is very important when it comes to graphic design. And I don't know how the higher ups managed to fail in catching this, or even let it through. Or maybe they were even the ones that decided to choose the specific words and made the graphic designer go through that. But anyhow, two different people failing graphic designer and the people that are reviewing it, who may or may not be the same person, who knows. All right, next example. This one is dreadful. Not because it's as blatant and glaringly terrible as the fentanyl is forever, but because of the long history behind the campaign, that this one is problematic. So the words they used were extinguish it, don't keep it lit, don't keep it lit, extinguish it. So this one is not so much a direct issue of word choice, but is a bit more complicated. So, don't keep it lit, extinguish it. There are different ways of dealing with this text. So if we take this out of context of this is a graphic design poster, and we just made it regular generic text, don't keep it lit, extinguish it. Regular generic text, such as maybe a comic book. We can do this type of font treatment. Don't keep it lit. Put this in like italics to emphasize. Okay, you can probably see where this is an issue already in terms of graphic design, but if you are doing something like a comic style treatment of the words, you would do something like this. Or this is an option for comic style text treatment. Italics and or capitalizing things, maybe even bolding it, which I kind of forgot. So this is an option for comic style treatment, but you can see where this is an issue graphic design wise if you read this. So don't keep it lit, extinguish it. That's how you would read it with emphasis on these words, which is why comics will bold, italicize, maybe full capitalize some words to get the intonation down. As a graphic design method for a poster, you're going to have to watch out because here we have the bolded, italicized, and capitalized words that read don't extinguish. This is for a Smokey the Bear campaign advert. They want you to extinguish fires. This is for wildfire prevention. They want you to extinguish your fires if you don't need them. This is saying the complete opposite through the bolded text. So you want to be careful with that. This is actually not what they've used on the poster. Thankfully, thank God. But the issue is there actually is a pretty similar treatment. with the text. So we don't want bold, we don't want italicized, we don't need that. So this one is the actual choice, with this being way larger and this one. So we obviously don't have the kerning and letting to size. So unfortunately, but this is the general format that they used for the poster that is actually up. See how this is a problem? Similar to the don't extinguish, this says lit it. So light it up. This is Smokey the Bear. They're all about putting out the fires, not lighting them up. Completely the opposite of what they're trying to do. So yes, this is a huge problem. Given that Smokey the Bear is a campaign for like decades, and now you're completely ruining it by having it screw up and do the complete opposite. That's an issue. That's a big issue. Some people might find it funny, but this would end up with memes of a pyromaniac bear instead of a wildlife and conservation enthusiast that is all about protecting wildlife. Yes, I know absurdism is a thing, but this does not work. Absurdist humor would go in a direction you completely don't really want in this particular case. So, yeah. If I were them, I would probably reevaluate the word choice, but I'm pretty sure this is a long-standing slogan that they've had. So you would, if you were doing a, if you're going to emphasize text, you would want to emphasize this word and this word, maybe. But as a graphic design thing, this can be tricky to work with. So I do understand why they ended up with the don't keep it lit with the giant lit and the giant it, because that's just, you're following a graphic design formula pretty mindlessly. Hey, this is why you need to properly think through your course of action and not just blindly choose formulas to follow and templates because yeah, there are issues if they don't mesh well with what you're trying to do. But anyhow, if I were to emphasize text for this particular slogan, this would be one of the options, but it's just not as appealing visually, which is unfortunate, but at least it does not convey the complete opposite of what you're trying to convey in the first place. So pick your poison. An alternative would be obviously reword, rephrase, completely revamp the slogan so you can actually make good use of text within it when you do some sort of um, bold emphasis on keywords within the slogan as a graphic design option. And now is the time when I start venting about the university I attended, how it's lacking because obviously that's should theoretically be one of the best choices for where you get qualified candidates to be working on these sort of things, but obviously they could have outsourced it for all I know. But anyhow, that's way off tangent, and we're not going to get into that. If you want to hear about it, hear about me venting about how terrible my school is with their art teaching degree qualification stuff. I could go into that, but that's another thing. So leave it in the comments if you want me to do that in a separate video. Alright, thanks for watching. And if you know any graphic designers, yeah, please give this a shout out if you know that they do screw up quite a lot with text choice, and give them a nice reminder about these things, because this honestly should be some pretty obvious basics, but I'm actually not too sure this gets covered at the university I studied for graphic design, which is absolutely horrible and unfortunate. So yeah, they might cover it. I just didn't go too deep into that. So eh, I've seen the graphic designer projects. Some of them for capstone are actually pretty disappointing with their considerations. So I know for a fact that our graphic design was not quite as good as it could have been. I I've been to other places, so other schools, so I know that they do have much more in-depth teaching than the school I've attended. To be fair, those schools are schools for fine art degrees and not just generic art bachelor's degrees. So we'll give the school I attended that much. But yeah. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye bye.